I'm Cara Kneer, journalist, wife, host, and a mother of two. I'm joined by Chef Brian Carson, who has over 15 years of culinary experience. Together, we're going to take the mystery out of everyday ingredients you can find at Earth Fare. This and more on today's Cooking with Earth Fare. Hey everyone, welcome to Cooking with Earth Fare, brought to you by Springer Mountain Farms. I'm Cara Kneer. Thank you so much for joining us on this lovely Monday. We're glad that you're here because we're about to get into that dish that you just saw. I can't wait to taste it because everything I taste that Chef Brian does is so delicious. So we want you to join in on the conversation. How do you do that? Well, if you're watching us online, hello, there are a plethora of ways to watch us. On Facebook, you can go to Springer Mountain Farms Facebook page. You can go to Cooking with Earth Fare's Facebook page. You can go to Earth Fare's Facebook page. You can also watch us on SpringerMTN.com. You can go to their YouTube channel or their Roku channel, so there's no excuse to miss a show. We're at an actual Earth Fare in Cumming, Georgia, so come out and see us Mondays at 4 o'clock. We will be here. You can sit in the studio audience. If you sit in the studio audience, we'd love for you to ask us a question live too in the store. We give away a bag of ingredients that will be used in each episode. We also give away online a $50 gift card to Earth Fare. All you have to do is go to Slido.com. That's Slido.com. Use hashtag Cooking with Earth Fare. What's going on? Hi. And join in on the conversation. We love to have you here in the store milling about and asking questions. So please join us. Without further ado, let's get into this week's recipe with the one, the only, Chef Brian Carson. Hello, my friend.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Good. All right, so we always tease the secret ingredient.
Yes.
Should we show the people what it is?
Yes, I think
Right.
a lot of them guessed it.
Okay.
Or that if they have, they will guess
Well,
it.
We
It's
like,
pretty easy to guess it.
Is it? Oh, not one, but two.
Romaine lettuces.
Romaine lettuces.
Not a single lettuce, but a lettuces.
I like the lettuces.
Let us surprise you.
Okay. And what are we going to be making today?
So we're going to actually do a couple of variations of something I like to do, especially when it's nice and weather. It's like this. Doesn't heat up the house. You hear me say that a lot. Maybe I just grew up in a really small house, or I think it was just all the "we're not heating the neighborhood" conversations
yes,
I had.
I get that too.
So
It's like, don't turn on the oven.
yeah, right. So go play outside
Yeah.
in traffic, whatever. So
Right.
good for you.
Right.
So the
Traffic,
whole-
we don't endorse that on Cooking with Earth Fare. Please don't go
No.
play in traffic.
Where I grew up, there was not
kidding,
really
yeah.
any traffic anyway. So it was actually here. Now there's traffic here.
Right. It used to
30
just
something
be
years ago, there was no traffic here, and
like tumbleweeds.
it was gravel street. I lived on a gravel street.
Okay. I
So,
did too.
so
We're just like twins.
we're twinsies.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Right.
So what we're gonna do is we're doing a variation of this spicy bacon chicken wrap.
Okay.
So we're gonna do a variation where we use a lettuce, and then I've got a couple of different wrap options to kind of show you
Ooh.
and talk about.
All right.
Because one of the things on the show that we always try to do is show you how to use maybe new stuff, maybe stuff you've used all your life but didn't know you could use it that way, and also just showing you some more alternatives, because everybody always asks, could we use this? Could we use this? And here at Earth Fare, they have so many wonderful products, especially for this recipe, that I really wanted to showcase some of those.
All right.
All right?
Perfect. I love it. Let's get started.
So first we're gonna do is I'm gonna have you plate these, set these on your plate,
Okay,
not plate
all right.
them.
I was like, what do you
we're not
want me to
done.
do?
We're
I
not to
can
the
do
plating
it.
part yet.
Seemed fast.
Yeah, I was over in a blink of an eye. They said 30 minutes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna make kind of a two-step thing here. So one, it's going to serve as a sort of a sauce on top,
Okay.
but it's also gonna serve, not swerve, serve as a marinade, if you will. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some sour cream and some mayonnaise. Now, for the sake of substitutions, this stuff I came across when we were doing an episode way back. It's Fabonnaise. Not only is the name great, but tastes great. It's vegan, vegetarian, non-GMO. So this is a great product. Tastes wonderful. Sir Kingdom makes great products
Okay.
anyway. We're gonna use some of that. And then you can go for your choice. So if you wanna stay on the vegan route, all that good stuff, you could use this, which is tofutti. This is a better than sour cream. Sour cream, it's one of my favorites if you need a substitution.
Okay.
Or you can just they've been making a probiotic sour cream now, which is also really awesome. Not the same company, different. This is actual sour cream. This is not vegan, not vegetarian, or all those things. This is a milk product, but it doesn't have any thickeners.
Okay.
So the reason I'll say that I like it is Now, it doesn't have any thickeners, but it's really thick, right? It's nice and cultured. I just think that the creaminess of this guy for what we're gonna do, because like you can see that, like it just seems so much more creamy to me.
Yeah.
So we're gonna use this, and you want more sour cream than mayonnaise because sour cream is gonna have more flavor, it's gonna penetrate. And then the mayonnaise, obviously, warm mayonnaise is not something I really go after. So we're gonna the idea here is that you won't taste the mayonnaise, but the mayonnaise has a lot of fat in it. It's gonna help things like help this chicken not stick to the pan. It's also gonna have a lot of salt in it. So we're gonna use that salt because this is actually made from I can't remember what it's called right now, but it's actually aquafaba. That's what it's called. It's on the jar.
Oh.
It's actually the juice off of chickpeas.
Oh.
So that's what they use here. So also very creamy, but it's gonna have a fair amount of salt to it.
All right.
So the reason I say that is because obviously we want the chicken to be seasoned. So there's a couple of ways to do that.
Okay, Taylor asked a question. Thank you, Taylor, for asking the question. Wants to know, how would you make the sauce dairy-free? That's not
so actually, if I had not used the Nancy's
Got it.
and I'd used the tofutti, it would absolutely be
Dairy-free.
dairy-free, the whole recipe. So that's what I was kind of saying. This kind of episode, I really wanted to talk about some options of just some really condiments, really, then ways that you can use them to make some really cool stuff. So the next thing we're gonna talk about is hot sauce. So this is something in my house that might as well be a food group. Here, can we see those? I've got two. I've got one that's a Chipotle.
Camera on this camera.
And then we got one that is a sriracha.
Okay.
So obviously
Hold it right
use
here.
your, there you go.
Okay.
These brands are both offered here. They're both wonderful. It's about what you're looking for. It's about how spicy you want it. It's about what you want. Any sriracha is going to be a little more sweeter because sriracha is uses red jalapeno as the primary pepper. Chipotle is going to be a smoked jalapeno. Anytime you kind of cook it and roast it down like that, you're going to intensify the flavor. So it's really about what you want at this point. So we're gonna grill this. So for me, I'm gonna opt out of the Chipotle today.
Okay.
Just today. It's still in the cupboard.
All right.
And then I'm gonna use some
we don't
sriracha.
judge on this show, so do whatever you want.
I did the thing where I didn't get the thing out.
Oh, that's all right.
So the reason we're gonna use the sriracha, and this is gonna do a couple of things. One, it's going to act as the acid in this, along with the little bit of the acidity that'll come from the sour cream. But it's also going to add, again, more salt, but it's also going to add tons of flavor.
Okay. Can you see that?
Oh, I've got a spoon in there.
It's tilted up to the camera.
There we go. And then
There we
just a
go.
touch of apple cider vinegar.
Okay.
Not too much, very little. And all the amounts are in the recipe as usual.
Yes. Go
And
to springermtn.com for the specific ingredients and measurements.
We're just going to stir that up. And all you're looking for is nicely blended. And it should be kind of saucy. It's not going to be too saucy,
Okay.
but we want a little bit. And if you want it thinner, you could always add a little bit of water. You could add a little bit of lemon juice or lime juice. You could add a little bit of milk even if you needed to, just to thin it out a little bit.
Okay. And this is sauce that's going into the wrap itself.
It's going to do two things.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is I'm going to grab a small bowl. And we're just going to reserve a little bit of this
Okay.
for the finished product. Don't need a ton, so we'll just save a little bit of that. Set that
Ooh,
there.
I'm excited about this.
And you can smell this. You smell it already has tons of flavors. You smell all kinds of stuff in there.
That smell good. Maybe keep this over here.
Nope, because we're going to
Okay.
use it.
Okay.
So now we're going to take our chicken thighs, and these are just boneless, skinless chicken thighs right out of the pack. I haven't trimmed them. I haven't touched them, really anything. What we're going to do is we're going to hit them with some black pepper, if you want to help
Okay.
me with that one.
Do. Get you. All right. Yeah. This is what I'm good at.
Just pepper, no salt, because we've got all those things that we said had a lot of salt in this marinade, so we don't really want to add any more salt
Okay.
for the sake of that we might over salt it. You can always
All right.
add more, you can't take it away. So we're going to take a little bit of olive oil on our grill pan here. And if you don't want to use oil, or if you want to use pan spray, or you want to use another oil, that's fine. I would just say look for something. You don't need a ton of smoke temp on this because it's not going to take that long to cook.
And obviously use what you have available. I'm guessing
Right.
you could use a
Canola, yeah,
You
a
use a
skillet,
skillet.
absolutely.
Okay.
If you wanted to throw these on the grill, that's the ideal place for
Sure.
it. Get that char, you get a little bit of fire, kiss of fire flavor. There's a lot of F's.
Don't kiss fire.
No, please don't.
Uh-uh.
So we're just gonna drop these in here with one hand, and the other hand, just gonna kind of rub them up.
Okay.
And we don't want a ton. We're not looking for a coating here. We don't want this, we want about like that. See if I can see through that in the camera there?
That looks good.
That's gonna be right in the money where we want.
All right, well, while you continue to do that, I'm going to tell people about a cool contest that we're doing right now. We want you to win not $50, not $100, not $150, but $200 to Earth Fair. We're going to select 2 winners randomly. All you have to do is take one of the recipes, either this one or one that we've made. You can find all of them on springermpn.com. Post a picture of it on Instagram, hashtag Cooking with Earth Fair, or Twitter, hashtag Cooking with EF. And we'll randomly select 2 of you, and you can win a bunch of money.
Yeah, $200. That's a
really
steal.
good. Yeah.
Just for cooking at home. So you're getting a snack, and you're gonna get some money if you win.
Seems good.
That seems good to me. So what you're gonna notice is that with these grill pans, you'll see how the oil kind of likes to puddle from side to side. And so we're just gonna help it out a little bit. Be very careful.
Okay. Oh, and you have till June 3rd to do that. Till June 3rd at 10 a.m. So from now until June 3rd.
Yeah.
Get them in, people.
So we're just going to tilt those back and forth. We're going to let that do its thing for a little bit. So the next couple of things that we're going to talk about is this recipe. I don't know if we mentioned this. This recipe, if you were going to cook a recipe and take a picture of it, this would be the one I go for because it's the easiest one to do if you've just got a little bit of time. That's all you need. So I would say that on a scale for this recipe, we're talking like a 3 or 2. Because,
so pretty easy.
Yeah, this recipe is really all about how to tell you how, when you look at a cabinet and you see a bunch of condiments or spices and you're like, what can I make out of that?
Sure.
Well, literally, we're going to take lettuce, onion, some cooked bacon, cheese, and chicken, and some condiments, and that's it. Like, and you can serve this for lunch, for dinner.
Sure.
You can do a build your own station if you want.
Ooh, that looks amazing.
So you see what's happening is that some of that marinade, if you will, the sauce that we put on is starting to stick. It's starting to caramelize because you've got sugars in almost everything. So the milk in the sour cream has got sugars in it. Those are caramelizing. All those good things are happening.
All
Keep that pan rolling.
I have a question because we're using bacon in this recipe, and NC Papas Tiros wants to know, why is the center cut a better cut of bacon?
I'll show you. And the best way to show you is on cooked bacon, which I happen to have.
Perfect.
So this is cooked bacon. I'm going to stretch it out and lay it flat on the overhead so you guys can see. So in this bacon,
which we learned last week, 2 weeks ago, not to stretch your bacon while wrapping.
Right, if you're wrapping stuff. So when you look at this bacon, and you see the difference between here, you've got the fat, right? We all know this part right here. This is the fat part. And you got all your lean meat. And so like the difference is center cut bacon is going to come from, so if the pork belly is this long, which is what they make bacon out of, whoop, put my arm in. If it's this long, center cut's going to be in the middle. And what that means is when you look at the bacon itself, you're going to have more lean bacon to fat ratio. And that's really what you want when you're cooking with stuff, or when you're cooking with bacon. And for me, I'm not one of those people who like super crispy bacon.
Okay.
I'm a crunch, or
Why is that, Chef Brian?
Just because I don't like the way it tastes.
You don't like?
I like it to be meaty and chewy and thick cut like this. So, but that's up to you. But definitely center cut bacon's always going to have more lean protein versus fat. So therefore it's going to be better for you. It's not going to shrink as much on you. That's the one thing you'll notice is that these whole strips of bacon did not shrink a ton on me because they didn't have a lot of fat. So they didn't lose all their weight essentially.
All right, are you done talking about bacon?
Never.
Okay. I just want to show everyone the crew for my Cara cam. If you want to take that. Hi, guys. It's kind of a dark shot. Here we go.
All right, light them up.
These are the people that make the magic happen.
We even got some audience over there hanging out.
Hi, guys. Thanks for coming and watching the show. Oh, it's very exciting. It's very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Except for when you do that.
Thanks for indulging me.
You.
All right.
So I'm just going to cut this bacon up, and we're going to reserve it for later. It's already been cooked. This could be something that if you had some leftover bacon, I don't know what leftover bacon is. I don't really have that in my house because bacon is all snack bacon. So
it's God's candy.
It is. There's a lot that goes into it though. I'll say that making bacon is one of the fine arts.
Yeah.
It's very, very time consuming. So we're just gonna get that ready for our finish.
Okay.
And our chicken thighs are getting real close to being done because they're not that thick. There's not much to them. This is supposed to be a very, very fast and easy recipe.
We always use Springer Mountain Farms chicken. Thank you
Kids.
so much for sponsoring
These are not made
the
with
show.
kids.
No, kitchen. I said kitchen.
Oh,
Nor kitchens. Springer Mountain Farms chicken. Thank you.
I think I scared that little girl over there.
Well, how? By saying hi?
No, by saying
Stranger
they were,
danger.
they were made with kids.
Sure.
You were telling them they were making it with kids. All right. So we're going to turn chicken down a little bit and let it finish on its own.
Okay.
And so I want to talk to you about a couple of options today. So we'll get to the lettuce. Actually, we're going to do lettuce first, just because it's our star ingredient today. So when you buy a romaine head, if you buy the whole head, a lot of you probably buy pre-cut. I always try to buy whole because it lasts longer a lot this way. And once you kind of introduce cutting it with the knife and damaging it, it starts to deteriorate. So a couple things to look for. A healthy head, you want to kind of, any of these loose things like this, I just kind of pull them off. I do that at the store before I leave. Maybe I'm not supposed to.
If you
I
go
do
into
that.
a store and you see errant lettuce leaves,
Well,
Chef
no,
Brian has
it's
probably
like
been there.
if it's bad, you don't want to pay for it. It'll pop it off.
Okay.
But like this one, so this was the same size as this. We just trimmed it down. So if you see something that says romaine hearts, that's this guy. That's what they're talking about, because this is a romaine lettuce and this is the heart. See how the difference in the color? You see how the heart has more of the white, where the lettuce, the actual head of lettuce, has the green? And the reason that is, well, I mean, it's just because it's the new growth that's kind of coming up and then bubbling out. So what we'll do, so you can see that,
Okay.
cut this guy long ways, and you'll see you have all of these, the romaine just kind of comes out of itself like that. So this is where it's really fun. You can do some cool stuff with it.
How do you feel about a wedge salad when you go to a restaurant and they just give you like
I ate
this
a wedge.
on your plate?
I ate a wedge like 3 days ago.
Okay, so you like
But
it.
wedge is iceberg lettuce.
Okay.
'Cause
I
a
was
wedge-
just kidding. I knew that.
Yeah, because a wedge is, because iceberg lettuce is a sphere, so you can kind of cut an actual wedge. What I was gonna say, one of my favorite things to do is grilled romaine. So you could take romaine just like this, drizzle a little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, and throw it right on the grill with the chicken if you want, and have a salad with it as well that way.
Ooh, that
So that's one
sounds
thing
good.
you can do. Another thing we can do, which is what we came to do today,
Okay.
is we're gonna make some wraps. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab some of these bigger leaves on this one just
Okay.
to not waste. But we want more of these.
How
You
I
can
help?
use these outer leaves, yeah, you can use these outer leaves, but to me, they're just kind of flimsy for a wrap. I like to save these for salads. I like to like chiffonade these, which we've kind of talked about and done a video on in the show. But you peel them back and you get to where you get this nice white rib, because that's got some bitterness to it. And that's got really all the flavor in romaine, because it's just water.
Okay.
All lettuce is just water. So we want to get that stuff. Also, you notice how it already kind of makes a boat for you. So all you got to do is fill it full of stuff and eat it. So that's why we're going to do that today. So we're going to pull, if you want to help me pull some of these.
Is there any
just-
way to like
maybe
properly
two more.
clean romaine lettuce?
So whether this is proper or not, that's up for debate. But the way that I do it is I fill up a sink, nice cold water, ice if you have it, and I take the heads whole like this. I hold them like that, and I like kind of drown them. I just
Okay.
kind of shove them down in there,
Okay.
and that way the water is going up in between the leaves and kind of getting any of that grit or sand out of there. But obviously, you can also just take this, cut off the end, and rinse all the leaves separately and toss them into a salad dryer. That's also very
Okay.
easy. Romaine tends to be pretty clean.
Do you have a salad dryer? I feel like you wouldn't.
I don't.
I didn't think you did.
I mean, I've had one,
Okay.
but the pump ones always
Yeah.
break.
Okay.
They do.
To know, I just couldn't see you using
Want
a
my
salad
salad
dryer. I could have been
dry.
wrong. Could have been
Yeah.
wrong.
One day I'll show you how to dry your lettuce
We
without a
can't wait.
salad spinner.
Stay tuned for that. That might be an instructional
Yeah,
video.
technique video.
Nobody wants to watch that.
Crazy, crazy technique. All right, so we're gonna, if you'll reserve those.
Okay. How'd you come up with this recipe?
I actually was I was like, I wanted to make dinner and I didn't have a bunch of stuff at home, and I was like, what do I have? And I was like, I usually always have romaine for salads and chicken, because I love chicken. And
Right?
I always have hot sauce and vinegar and mayonnaise, and I was like, it just kind of came out.
Yeah, excellent. All right.
So the next thing I wanted to talk about, get this towel out of the way, was some of the other ways that we could do this.
Okay.
And we'll get to those in just a minute. But I've got some different wraps that we could use. And this is actually a brand that they have here at Earth Fair, and I found it. These are made from cassava flour, and they're tortilla. And I want to open these and just show them to you real quick because they are amazing. And to me, for this being made of cassava flour, like
I don't even know what that means. What does that mean?
cassava root,
Yeah.
it's a root like
Can I eat it?
you can. But it tastes better than a flour tortilla to me.
Yum. Mhm.
They're a little brittle when they're cold, but once you heat them up, they have the same malleability as a flour tortilla would any day of the week. And they also have ones that are in almond flour here. So we got options out there for you. These are gluten-free and dairy-free and soy-free and vegan. These ones are the same, they're just not nut-free because they have almond flour in them. But, so, and then this is what we're gonna use today
Okay.
to make a real Mondo wrap. Because
All right.
if you want, we're gonna show you a couple of versions. This
eat
is
the whole thing.
a pizza wrap here, guys. Look at this thing. Mondo. Set
Oh,
those
sorry.
there. Oh, I'm gonna grab a couple of those leaves of romaine. You remember how I said to cut them up, shifting on them? I'll show you.
Okay. While you're getting ready to show that, we have a question from Facebook. Isper wants to know, does using an air fryer make it as good as deep frying?
You know what? Honestly, I haven't had a chance to dig my claws into one. I was actually somewhere the other day and I saw one, and I mentioned Danielle. I was like, I want to get one of those because, like, people are air frying wings on the internet that look pretty good. So I would say if you have one, go for it. I mean, I think they're
Let us know how it goes.
yeah, I think they're kind of expensive. They're like $300, which isn't bad.
Pricey.
Yeah, but by all means, I don't see why it wouldn't. The technology's been there for quite some time.
Sure.
So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take some more chicken thighs. They're done now. And we're just gonna slice them up.
Okay.
And I want you to try, yeah, it's done. I want you to try a piece of this guy
Okay.
and just tell me what you think.
Okay. It's really good.
You taste all the flavors that we put in that
Yes.
marinade.
Uh-huh.
So you can cut this however you want. If you want to do chunks, chunks is fine. Me, I kind of like to thinly slice it like this so it's kind of shredded
Okay.
almost.
Ooh, that is good. It's got a little kick
A little
to it.
zing in the
Yeah.
back. That's perfect. So what we want to do there, wipe my knife, put that here. So,
Oops, sorry.
it's okay.
Excuse me.
So what I want to do is if you want to do the lettuce wrap version, which is one of my favorites, take the lettuce.
Okay.
You're going to have fun eating this one on camera.
I can't wait. Try me.
We're going to put a little bit of our chicken right in the middle.
Ooh, that looks good, chef.
And then, again, it's just kind of like about garnishes from here.
Well, I was going to say, there was no real pre-prep to this recipe either.
No.
So a great last minute.
Right.
Recipe.
So one thing I like to do is a lot of things, if I build a sandwich, I build a sandwich in a certain order. It's just an OCD thing.
Okay.
So I always put cheese on top of what's hot. That way the cheese gets melted. Move
I
this
like
back
your
over here.
style.
That way it's nice and melty melt. Obviously put as much cheese as you want. If you're dairy free, use a dairy free cheese.
Right.
Next, we're gonna hit it with bacon.
Yum. We have another question from Anonymous. Thank you so much for writing in. Do you prefer using chicken thighs versus chicken legs or chicken breasts for this meal?
I do use the
Whatever you
thigh
have.
because it's easier to deal with. It's boneless already. If you wanted to debone a chicken leg, you could do that. You could use breasts easily for this recipe.
Mm-hmm.
You could also, you could take this recipe and build it a lot of different ways. You could do, I've done this with like flank steak as well,
Okay.
which is a really fun one to do. That marinade is what I'm getting at.
Okay.
So next, we're gonna take our sauce.
Ooh, yeah, sauce it up. Exciting. You always do sauce last?
So
Mix anything?
I was thinking about it in my head, and I was like, man, maybe I'll wipe some on the bottom of the leaf of lettuce here.
Sure.
But then I was thinking about it, and I was like, you know what? If I do, that's the first thing that's going to hit your palate, and it's going to blow it out for everything else to come. So what I decided to do is we'll do the sauce on top, and then if you like it like I do, you hit it with one of these.
Do you cook like this every night, Chef?
Pretty much.
All right.
It's kind of hard. It's hard to turn it off. So what you end up with is beautiful lettuce wrap or spicy bacon chicken lettuce wrap.
All right. Chef Brian Carson, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. Thank you to Springer Mountain Farms for making this dish possible. Thank you to Earth Fare. Thank you to all of you for watching. We will be back next week live. Hold on. I got to do something first. Let me cut this off. Well, no, I got to cut this off a little bit. Because I got to get to the good stuff.
She's trimming it.
I'm trimming to get to the good stuff. I'm just going to take a moment and take this all in, ladies and gentlemen. All right, cheers. Thank you so much. Thank you. Have a great week, and we will see you back here next week, June 3rd, live, 4 o'clock, Cooking with Earth Fare. Thanks so much.